Hi. Welcome to tonight's gentle sleep story. If you're here to slow down, unwind, and drift peacefully into the night, you're in the perfect place. Before we begin, take a soft breath in and let it go slowly. And if you enjoy calm bedtime stories, please remember to like the video, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another relaxing night with us. Now, as your body settles, as your breath softens, let the world fade a little. We're about to step quietly into a dreamy retelling of a legend, whispered through centuries. Tonight, we enter the mystery of the Whispering Piper of Hamlin. Chapter 1: A town filled with quiet mist. Long ago, in a valley far from the noise of busy roads and restless nights, there rested a small town named Hamlin. It wasn't a grand place. No tall towers touched the clouds, no ships crowded its riverbank, and no armies marched across its fields. Hamlin was simple, peaceful, wrapped in gentle hills and soft green meadows, the kind that seemed to glow under the early morning sun. Every sunrise, a cool mist rolled in from the river, curling around doorways and drifting across rooftops, as if the town were covered by a warm, sleepy blanket. Children laughed in the gardens, running with bare feet across wet grass. Mothers stirred breakfast by open windows. Elders leaned against wooden fences, telling stories passed down through generations. Time moved slowly in Hamlin, sweetly, like the last few moments before drifting into sleep. But even the calmest places can face moments that shake their peace. It began with a rustle, a squeak, a shadow slipping beneath floorboards. At first, just one, then two, then dozens. Soon, Hamlin had a problem nobody expected: rats. Chapter 2: When troubles grew louder than the night. At first, the townspeople tried to ignore it. A few rats never hurt anyone, they said. But within days, the rats multiplied. They crawled across rooftops at night, their tiny feet tapping softly like raindrops. They slipped into pantries, chewed through baskets, nibbled wheat and grain. The peaceful nights of Hamlin were no longer peaceful. Mothers could not sleep. Fathers stayed awake, guarding their homes. Children woke up frightened, hearing scratching behind their walls. The mayor called a meeting. Lanterns lit the square with warm orange light, but the expressions on people's faces were heavy. "We need help," the mayor said. "We need someone, anyone. Who can solve this?" The townspeople nodded. Some prayed, some sighed, some simply stared at the ground, wishing for the silence they once had. Then, one evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and the mist returned to the streets, someone appeared. Chapter 3: The Arrival of the Piper. He came from the far end of the road, walking slowly, as if the world itself whispered beneath his feet. A long, flowing cloak wrapped around him, like morning fog. His boots were dusty. His hair carried the scent of travel, and over his shoulder hung a wooden pipe, engraved with delicate patterns, that shimmered when the lanterns flickered. The children saw him first. They stopped their games and watched him, heads tilted with curiosity. He smiled at them, a warm, gentle smile, and placed a hand over his heart, as if greeting them with kindness, not words. Whispers spread through the town. Who is he? A traveler? A musician? Is he dangerous? But the piper's presence felt calm, soothing, almost magical. The mayor approached him and explained Hamlin's suffering, the rats, the sleepless nights, the fear of sickness, the hunger creeping into their homes. The piper listened with a thoughtful expression. Then he spoke, his voice soft as falling snow. "I can help you," he said. "My music can guide them away. All I ask is a small reward, not too large, only what is fair for the journey." Desperation filled the air. The mayor agreed, the people agreed, and hope returned to Hamlin. For the first time in many months. Chapter 4. The music that transformed a town. The next dawn. The piper stepped into the center of Hamlin. The sunlight painted soft gold across the cobblestones. Birds perched on windowsills, watching with curious eyes. He raised his pipe, closed his eyes, and breathed in deeply. Then he began to play. The melody floated into the morning air, soft like velvet, gentle like a lullaby. It drifted through open windows, through market stalls, through quiet barns and dusty attics. And then the rats came, one by one, then dozens, then hundreds. They emerged from shadows, from cellars, from rooftops, not frantic, not terrified, but calm, drawn to the melody, as if every note carried a promise. The piper walked slowly, weaving through the streets, his cloak flowing behind him like a silver river. The rats followed, in quiet, organized lines, through the square, across the bridge, toward the wide riverbank. The piper's song softened to a shimmering whisper. The rats slipped into the river peacefully, quietly, until the last ripple faded. Hamlin was silent again, truly silent, beautifully silent. The townspeople cried with joy. They hugged their children. They sang praises in the streets. The piper had saved them. But celebration sometimes makes people forget the promises they made, the broken promise. The piper returned to the mayor to collect his reward. The room was warm, filled with daylight, and the sounds of celebration outside. But the mayor's face hardened. "You played only a tune," he said. "Surely that is not worth so much." The piper reminded him of the agreement, the promise spoken the previous night. But greed had taken root. The mayor refused, the council refused, and the townspeople, still caught in their celebration, said nothing. The piper lowered his gaze, not in anger, but in disappointment. He whispered something. The mayor did not catch. A soft line carried away by the wind. Then he turned and walked out of town. Hamlin returned to celebration, but the wind carried a warning. Chapter 6. A softer, stranger melody. The next morning was quiet, peaceful, too peaceful. Children played in the streets, as usual, their laughter echoing across the hills. Then the piper returned. He walked calmly, his cloak fluttering gently. With each step, the children spotted him immediately. He smiled again, the same warm smile, and raised his pipe. But the melody that came this time was different. Soft, sweet, almost dreamy. It hovered in the air, like a lullaby sung by a mother to a sleepy child. The children froze mid-play. Their eyes softened, their shoulders relaxed, their breathing slowed. One by one, they stepped toward the piper, drawn by the gentle notes, not frightened, not confused, just peacefully curious. Adults called out to them, but their voices sounded distant, muted, as though wrapped in cotton. The piper turned toward the hills. The children followed. They walked past the river, past the fields, past the last row of houses, toward the glowing forest path. No adult in Hamlin dared walk. The music faded, softly, slowly, and when it stopped, the children and the piper were gone. The town that woke too late. Hamlin erupted in panic. Search parties scattered across the hills. Mothers cried out their children's names into quiet forests. Fathers ran across fields, their voices cracking with fear. But the piper did not answer. Days passed, then weeks, but no child returned. Some whispered it was punishment for breaking a promise. Others believed the piper led the children to a magical place, a world filled with music, light, and endless dreams. Hamlin was never the same again. The laughter of children no longer filled the mornings. The warmth of family dinners felt dimmer, and every sunset carried a hint of sadness. But the legend lived on. Chapter 8. A gentle lesson for quiet hearts. Centuries later, people still travel to Hamlin to hear the stories whispered by the old stones, the river, and the hills. Some say that on certain nights, when the wind is calm and the moon is bright, you can hear a faint melody drifting through the valley, soft, calm, and comforting. A reminder that promises matter, kindness matters, and even the softest music can change the world. Chapter 9. A soft goodnight. As you rest now, let the gentle melody of this story wrap around your thoughts. Let your breath slow. Let your shoulders relax. Let sleep drift in like a calm river moving under moonlight. You are safe. You are peaceful. You are ready to rest tonight. May your dreams be soft. May your heart be calm. And may the whisper of Hamlin's melody guide you into deep, gentle sleep. Good night and sweet dreams. Long ago, in a gentle valley nestled between soft, rolling hills, there lay a quiet town called Hamlin. The morning mist would linger over its cobblestone streets, curling around every doorway and garden path, wrapping the town in a dreamlike haze. The light of dawn spilled slowly over the roofs, painting them in soft gold, as though the world itself were taking a long, calming breath. In Hamlin, life moved with a measured pace. Children wandered barefoot through orchards, their laughter mingling with the rustle of leaves and the quiet hum of bees. Mothers hummed lullabies older than memory, carrying the soft rhythm of their voices through open windows into sunlit kitchens. Fathers tended the gardens, planting herbs and vegetables with deliberate care, while elders sat beneath the tall oaks in the square, weaving tales that drifted on the gentle breeze, floating softly like autumn leaves. Everything in Hamlin seemed to breathe. The river that curved through the valley whispered to itself as it traveled along mossy banks, reflecting the silver mist that rolled from the hills each morning. Even the animals moved with a peculiar patience, aware perhaps of the calm that enveloped the town. Yet, beneath the quiet surface, a gentle unease began to stir. At first, it was almost imperceptible. A shadow here, a missing loaf there, a rustle in the night that seemed larger than it ought to be. Tiny feet scuttled in attics and cellars. At first, the townspeople paid little mind. After all, life had always included minor annoyances. But as days passed, the scurrying grew louder, more confident, until the soft pattering of tiny feet could no longer be ignored. Rats, The town had always lived alongside them, but never in such numbers. They moved swiftly, silently, like whispers in the dark. The bread disappeared, grain vanished. The smooth floors of homes bore their scratches. Even the lanterns seemed to flicker nervously, as if aware of the small invader's presence. Sleep became a stranger in Hamlin, and the townspeople began to gather each night in the square, their faces lined with worry under the soft glow of lantern light. The mayor of Hamlin, seeing the growing distress, called a town meeting in the central square. Lanterns glowed warmly as the townsfolk gathered, murmuring quietly to one another. Worry etched into every face. Parents held children close, whispering soft reassurances, though their own hearts trembled. "We need help," the mayor said, his voice calm but firm. "Someone who can restore the peace we have lost. Someone who can guide these intruders away, so that our nights may be quiet again." The wind seemed to carry his words across the valley, and, as if in answer, a figure appeared on the road that led to Hamlin. He walked with a quiet certainty, as though he moved to a rhythm only he could hear. The townspeople watched as he approached, a cloak flowing behind him like gentle mist. His boots brushed the cobblestones lightly, and across his shoulder rested a wooden pipe, carved with careful artistry. The children were the first to notice him. Their games slowed. They tilted their heads in curiosity, feeling the soft pull of something unusual, yet strangely comforting. He stopped in the center of the square, with a hand placed gently over his heart. He gave a slight bow, not one of ceremony, but of respect. Whispers spread through the crowd. "Who is he? A traveler? A musician? Could he help us?" At last he spoke, his voice soft as the rustle of leaves in the morning wind. "I have heard your town is troubled. Perhaps I can help." A hush fell over the crowd. Even the restless seemed to pause, caught in the calm that radiated from the stranger. The mayor explained the trouble: sleepless nights, disappearing grain, creeping fear that had begun to settle over every home. The piper listened, eyes calm and attentive, his hands resting lightly on the carved pipe. "I can guide them away," he said at last, "not with force, but with music. I only ask a fair reward for my work." The townspeople, desperate for relief, agreed. And so, the next morning, as the soft light of dawn spilled over the hills, the piper stepped into the square. He raised his pipe to his lips and breathed out a note that floated across the town like a silver ribbon. It was soft, flowing, almost hypnotic, and it wound through the streets, curling around doors, brushing against window panes, and slipping softly over gardens. From the shadows, the rats emerged, but they did not scatter. Drawn by the music, they followed the piper, moving quietly and calmly, as if carried by the gentle current of the melody itself. Step by step, they were guided toward the river, where the last note faded, and the small creatures disappeared into the misty water. Hamlin exhaled collectively. The calm returned, soft and delicate, like a sigh after a long pause. Peace had returned to the valley, and the townspeople felt relief settle like a gentle blanket over their hearts. Yet, even in relief, there was caution. The mayor, caught in pride and celebration, hesitated when the piper came to claim his reward. He murmured, "A song cannot cost so much." The piper's eyes softened, not with anger, but with sorrow. "A promise," he whispered. is like a melody. It cannot be broken without echo. With that, he left the square, cloak flowing behind him, pipe tucked to his side, leaving Hamlin in quiet reflection. The wind carried a soft warning. The story was not over. The next morning, the children of Hamlin played quietly in the sunlit streets. Their laughter was soft, delicate, almost musical, as if carrying the memory of the night's strange events. And then the piper returned. His cloak glimmered faintly in the gentle morning light, and the carved wooden pipe rested lightly in his hands. He began to play a new melody, softer, sweeter, and dreamlike. The notes floated over the town, curling around rooftops and gardens, drifting into open windows. The children paused in their play. Their breaths slowed. Their eyes followed the invisible thread of music that seemed to guide them forward. Step by step, they walked behind the piper, following him as he led them toward the misty hills that cradled the town. Parents called out, voices trembling with fear and disbelief. But the children did not hear. The melody carried them further, beyond the sight of the streets they had always known, into a dreamlike world where the air shimmered with soft silver, mist and the trees whispered gently among themselves. The townspeople searched tirelessly, calling names and scanning every hill and forest, but the piper did not answer. Some whispered that this was punishment for broken promises, while others believed that he had guided the children to a magical, safe place where laughter never ended and sorrow could not reach. The town of Hamlin was changed forever. Its streets were quieter. The air seemed to carry a soft memory of music, and each evening, as the silver mist rolled through the valley, the people would remember the gentle warning of broken promises, a lesson carried on invisible wings. Night had settled softly over the town of Hamlin, draping its cobblestone streets in deep shades of blue and silver. The mist that had lingered all day thickened gently, curling over rooftops and winding through narrow alleys. Lanterns flickered in the twilight, casting delicate pools of light on the walls, soft enough to create a sense of mystery rather than fear. The town had grown quiet. The children were tucked into their beds, their breathing slow and steady. Parents moved silently, finishing last chores, their voices hushed, careful not to disturb the fragile calm. Even the river that wound through the valley seemed to slow its flow, as though aware of the stillness that had taken hold. But the quiet of Hamlin at night was not entirely empty. Shadows moved along the edges of lantern light, stretching and curling like smoke. Tiny noises whispered from attics and cellars, where the subtle, restless movements of rats still lingered, though fewer than before. The air was alive with soft tension, a gentle reminder that mystery often travels hand in hand with calm. Part 2, a gentle stirring. As the moon climbed higher, its silver glow spilling over the town, a figure appeared on the far road that led into Hamlin. The townsfolk would later speak of him only in whispers, a man cloaked and enigmatic, carrying a pipe that gleamed faintly in the moonlight. His steps were measured, almost melodic, as if the very earth beneath him guided his pace. From the edges of the square, the first few children noticed him. They had been peeking from windows, eyes wide, catching glimpses of a stranger moving with the quiet confidence of one who belonged both everywhere and nowhere. He stopped at the edge of the town, looking around with calm, steady eyes. The mist clung to his cloak, softening his outline, making him appear almost like a dream walking through the night. He raised the pipe to his lips and blew a note. It was not loud, it was not demanding. It was a sound that wrapped gently around the houses, curling into the windows, settling into the hearts of all who heard. It was a melody of wonder, of quiet curiosity, of something waiting to unfold. The rats, fewer now than before, stirred at the sound. Unlike the chaos of the day, they moved slowly, drawn to the music as if guided by an invisible hand. They left the homes where they had nested, gliding silently across the cobblestones, their small feet making no sound over the night-soaked stones. The townspeople, listening from their windows, felt their own tension ease, even as uncertainty lingered. The music was strange but soothing, hypnotic, without fear. It seemed to tell the story of the town itself, its history, its quiet moments, its hidden sadness, and its untold dreams. Step by step, the piper walked through the streets. Shadows of the hills stretched and softened under the moonlight. Gardens whispered as the breeze carried his tune, and the river responded with a gentle, shimmering reflection, dancing along the water's surface as if it too were caught in the spell. Part 4. The mystery unfolds. With each note, the piper guided the rats toward the river, where they disappeared into the misty darkness. The town exhaled, releasing months of worry in a long, trembling sigh. And yet, the night held another secret. The children, drawn by a melody softer than a whisper, began to stir in their beds. Eyes fluttered open, curiosity outweighing sleep. Their tiny feet padded softly on floorboards, down staircases, out into the square, all following the gentle sound that called them from the shadows. Parents awoke to see their children vanish quietly into the night. Panic almost rose, but the music was calming, coaxing hearts to slow their racing, even in fear. It was a night unlike any other, a night where mystery and calm walked hand in hand, leading Hamlin into a dreamscape beyond the ordinary world. Part 5. Walking through misty streets. The piper led the children down narrow alleys wrapped in silver fog, past silent gardens and under archways of twisted ivy. Each step seemed to float, weightless, as though the cobblestones themselves were carrying them forward in harmony with the music. The houses seemed alive with whispers of their own. Shadows shifted softly, revealing glimpses of sleeping animals, open windows, and flickering candlelight. The streets of Hamlin felt both familiar and strange, ordinary and magical, as if the town itself had entered a twilight dream. Even the wind moved in time with the piper's tune. It swirled around rooftops and down chimneys, carrying scents of herbs, wrapping the children in a calm cocoon that eased any remaining fear. The night deepened over Hamlin, the silver mist wrapping every corner like a soft blanket. The children followed the piper without fear, their footsteps quiet and light, as though the night itself cushioned their way. The melody floated ahead of them, guiding them down winding streets, through quiet squares, and past the old, sleeping bakeries where the scent of bread lingered faintly in the cool air. Even the river seemed to move differently tonight, its waters reflecting the glow of lanterns and moonlight in a soft, rhythmic shimmer. Each ripple caught the melody, carrying it along like a gentle, silver ribbon that led the children farther into the valley's embrace. The townspeople, watching from windows and doorways, felt their hearts both heavy and light. Heavy because they could not follow. Light because the music was a balm, a soft reassurance that the children were safe. Though mystery draped over the night like a velvet curtain, there was no terror, only the quiet wonder of the unknown. The piper moved gracefully, his cloak brushing against the mist, his wooden pipe releasing notes that rose and fell like gentle waves. Every sound seemed to speak directly to the heart, calming every thought and tension. Even the smallest animals paused to listen, the night alive with quiet attention. Yet everything remained calm, serene, untouched by chaos. Part 2. Through the Whispering Woods. As they left the town behind, the children followed the piper into the gentle hills that surrounded Hamlin. The forest at night was not frightening, but magical. Trees bent lightly under the weight of silver mist, their leaves shimmering softly. Shadows danced, moving in tune with the piper's music. The ground was soft with moss, cushioning every step. The melody guided the children carefully along winding paths, over tiny streams that sparkled under the moonlight. Each note seemed to illuminate the path ahead, revealing hidden flowers, glowing gently, and smooth stones that reflected the mist. Every sound, every rhythm, was a lullaby for both the mind and the heart, easing all worry and fear. The night was full of whispers, soft rustling of leaves, distant calls of owls, the gentle murmur of the river, but none broke the calm. Instead, every element seemed to participate in the music, harmonizing to create a night full of wonder, comfort, and peace. The children, wrapped in the dreamlike journey, felt no fatigue. Their steps were light, their hearts open, their eyes wide with quiet amazement. The piper led them to a clearing where the mist curled like silver smoke. Here, the melody shifted, becoming softer, more intimate, as if speaking directly to each child's heart. They paused for a moment, breathing in the cool, fragrant night air, feeling the gentle hush of the world around them. In that moment, the mystery of Hamlin, its quiet streets, its gentle river, its whispering hills felt alive and protective. The children understood, without words, that they were part of something rare and beautiful, a night woven from music, mist, and gentle guidance. Even the stars above seemed to respond, their soft glow pulsing faintly with the rhythm of the piper's tune. It was a world suspended between wakefulness and sleep, a place where imagination could breathe freely, and where every shadow held a promise of safety and calm. The piper's melody carried the children deeper into the hills, where the mist thickened like a soft silver veil. Trees arched gracefully overhead, their leaves whispering secrets of the night. The path, though unfamiliar, felt welcoming, as if the very earth guided their steps in harmony with the music. Each note seemed to cradle their hearts, easing any lingering tension and filling their minds with gentle curiosity. They came upon a small clearing where moonlight pooled like liquid silver. Here, the melody shifted once more, soft and fluid, weaving around the children as if to lull them into a state of serene wonder. The mist swirled gently, dancing with each note of the piper's pipe. The children felt weightless, suspended in a world where only calm, magic, and gentle mystery existed. In this quiet, enchanted space, Hamlin's troubles seemed far away. The lingering memory of the town's unease melted into the soft night. The children looked at one another, eyes wide with quiet amazement, sensing that this journey, though strange, was safe and wondrous. Every step, every sound, every shimmer of mist was a gentle invitation to trust, to follow, and to dream. The piper's presence was both guiding and protective. His music seemed to communicate without words, reassuring the children that the night held no harm, only the calm of discovery. The forest around them seemed to breathe with the melody, each rustle of leaves, each ripple of the nearby stream joining in harmonious rhythm. The night continued its slow, deliberate passage. Shadows stretched and softened under the moon's glow. The children followed, their pace unhurried, each heartbeat syncing with the gentle rhythm of the piper's song. They discovered hidden flowers glowing faintly in the mist, small creatures peeking curiously from under bushes, and smooth stones that reflected the silver light of the moon. Every detail seemed purposeful, woven into a symphony of quiet wonder and gentle magic. As the journey neared its end, the piper led them to the edge of a tranquil river. The water shimmered softly, reflecting the silver mist and the pale glow of the moon. The melody slowed, notes lingering in the cool night air, wrapping the children in comfort and calm. They paused, breathing deeply, feeling the serenity of the river, the safety of the night, and the gentle promise of dreams to come. Here, the children understood, even without words, the beauty of the journey. They were part of a magical, peaceful story, one that would remain with them even as sleep claimed their minds and bodies. The piper's music, the misty hills, the gentle night everything combined to guide them toward the soft, restful embrace of dreams. The children slowly settled onto the soft grass by the riverbank, eyes closing as the melody lulled them deeper into tranquility. The night, once mysterious, had transformed into a haven of peace and wonder, and though the piper's figure faded into the mist, the music lingered, echoing gently, a soft lullaby for Hamlin's youngest hearts. In this night of silver mist and gentle music, the town's mystery remained, not as fear or worry, but as a soothing journey, a dreamlike passage guiding all who experienced it toward calm, safety, and restful sleep. As the evening sun dipped behind the rolling hills surrounding Hamlin, the town was bathed in a warm, amber glow. The cobblestone streets reflected the soft light, and the lanterns along the square flickered gently, waiting to cast their golden glow once night fully arrived. The air was calm, fragrant with the subtle scent of herbs from garden windows, and the distant hint of bread baking in cozy kitchens. Children played quietly under the fading sunlight, their laughter a gentle murmur that mingled with the rustle of leaves and the whisper of the river. Parents moved slowly, wrapping up their day with deliberate care, while the elders watched from beneath ancient trees, their soft chatter blending with the peaceful rhythm of the town. As the sun vanished behind the hills, a silver mist began to weave itself across rooftops and down narrow alleyways. It was the kind of mist that made the world feel softer, more magical, as if the very air had taken a deep, calming breath. The streets seemed to hold their own secrets, whispering of events unseen and stories waiting to unfold. Part 2, a music that floats through the night. In the heart of the square, a figure appeared, moving quietly over the cobblestones. His cloak swirled gently with each step, catching the last rays of sunlight before the night fully enveloped the town. Across his shoulder, rested a carved wooden pipe, polished by years of care, gleaming faintly in the soft light. The children noticed him first, their heads tilted curiously, eyes wide as they watched him move with a deliberate grace, each step almost rhythmic, as if the town itself were holding its breath in anticipation. The children noticed him first, their heads tilted curiously, eyes wide as they watched him move with a deliberate grace, each step almost rhythmic, as if the town itself were holding its breath in anticipation. He raised the pipe to his lips, and the first note floated gently into the evening air. Soft and clear, it wrapped itself around the buildings, through open windows, and across the cobblestones. The sound was not loud. It did not demand attention. Instead, it settled gently into the hearts of all who heard it, calming any lingering tension and filling minds with a quiet sense of wonder. The melody drifted like a gentle stream, curling around lampposts, gliding along fences, and sweeping softly through gardens. Even the river seemed to respond, its waters shimmering faintly as if keeping time with the tune. The town, bathed in twilight, became a sanctuary for soft magic and gentle music. Part 3. Children drawn to the sound. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the children began to follow the notes. Their bare feet touched the stones softly, in rhythm with the music, their laughter muted in awe. Every corner of Hamlin seemed alive, yet gentle soft shadows moved without threat, and the mist wrapped around the streets like a protective cloak. Parents watched from doorways and windows, feeling a mixture of wonder and concern. But there was no fear in the melody. It was calm, inviting, and soothing, as if guiding everyone toward a secret world of quiet magic. The children moved through the square with trust, each step light and deliberate, following the invisible thread of melody that wove through the town like a silver ribbon. The piper's tune guided them past familiar streets, over soft grass, and through quiet gardens. Every note seemed to illuminate the world in a soft glow, revealing hidden details, the shimmer of dew on leaves, the faint outline of flowers that glowed in the evening mist, the gentle ripple of water in small streams. It was a magical experience, filled with wonder, yet profoundly relaxing, the kind that eased every thought and softened every heartbeat. The night deepened over Hamlin, and the soft mist thickened, wrapping the town in a veil of silver. The children continued to follow the piper, their movements light and almost floating, as though the very air beneath their feet had softened to carry them forward. The melody rose and fell, a gentle wave guiding them deeper into the quiet heart of the town. Shadows danced softly along walls and gardens, bending in harmony with the notes of the pipe. Every rustle of leaves, every flicker of lantern light, seemed to respond to the music, creating a symphony of calm that enveloped both children and the world around them. Even the river, reflecting moonlight and mist, shimmered with gentle rhythm, flowing like a silver ribbon through the valley. The children's eyes were wide with quiet amazement. They saw details that daytime obscured, the faint shimmer of flowers under the mist, the smooth lines of cobblestones glistening with dew, the soft silhouette of trees stretching their limbs toward the night sky. The world felt alive, yet soothing, magical, yet familiar, and every step carried them deeper into this dreamlike journey. Part 2. Through the misty gardens. The piper led the children through gardens that seemed to glow under the silver haze. Each plant and flower appeared touched by gentle magic. Petals shimmered as though dusted with starlight. Leaves rustled softly, and the air smelled faintly of herbs and damp earth. The melody guided the children carefully, encouraging gentle curiosity and quiet wonder. Small creatures peeked from under bush mice, rabbits, even hedgehogs watching the procession without fear. The night, though filled with unknowns, felt safe and nurturing. Every note of the piper's pipe seemed to reassure the children, reminding them that calm and magic could coexist with mystery. The path wound gently through soft moss, over tiny streams that reflected the moonlight, and beneath arching branches that created natural tunnels of silver mist. Each step was deliberate, harmonious with the music, and each breath of the children seemed to match the rhythm of the night. The heart of Hamlin's mystery. The children arrived at a clearing in the hills, where the mist swirled like silver smoke and the moon cast a gentle glow over the world. The piper's melody softened, curling around each child, carrying them into a deeper sense of calm. In this space, the mystery of Hamlin felt alive, yet entirely gentle. It was a place where the world seemed paused, a realm where shadows moved with purpose. The air shimmered with soft magic, and every sound was a lullaby. The children paused, taking in the beauty around them. They could see the shapes of the hills and the river below, glowing softly in the moonlight, and feel the gentle embrace of the night. Here, the story of Hamlin was not frightening. It was soothing, full of wonder, and deeply comforting. Every note of the piper's music wrapped them in calm. Every swirl of mist seemed to protect them, and every gentle rustle of leaves whispered the quiet promise of safe dreams. The piper's melody deepened, richness and warmth, as the children settled into the clearing. The mist curled around them like a soft, silver blanket, and the moon cast gentle, glowing light across the hills. Every note seemed to float through the air, weaving a cocoon of calm that wrapped each child in safety and wonder. As they followed the piper further, they discovered small magical details hidden within the night. Tiny flowers glowed faintly along the edges of the paths, their colors shimmering under the moonlight. Stones sparkled softly, smooth and cool beneath their feet. The trees arched gracefully overhead, their leaves whispering secrets that only the night and music could reveal. The children walked slowly, carefully, each step in rhythm with the gentle melody. Their hearts were light, free from fear, and their minds open to the dreamlike magic that the piper's music carried. Even the smallest creatures of the forest rabbit, birds, and mice watched quietly, as if respecting the calm enchantment that filled the night. Eventually, they reached a wide river that shimmered under the moon's silver glow. The piper paused, letting the final notes linger in the air. The water reflected every detail of the mist, the hills, and the soft glow of lanterns still scattered across Hamlin in the distance. The children felt a profound sense of peace. The night, though mysterious, was safe, comforting, and magical. Here, the story of Hamlin revealed itself as a tale of gentle wonder. It was a night journey, a magical passage through familiar streets and hidden places, guided by music, mist, and quiet curiosity. The children lay down on the soft grass by the river, breathing deeply, letting the melody soothe them further into rest. Every note of the piper's pipe, every shimmer of moonlight, every whisper of the mist encouraged dreams to bloom in their minds. As sleep began to claim them, the piper's figure faded slowly into the silver haze. Yet his music remained, lingering softly like a comforting memory, guiding each child into deeper, gentler dreams. The night of Hamlin, filled with mystery and magic, settled over the valley, a timeless lullaby that promised calm, rest, and wonder for those who listened carefully. Even when the children awoke, the memory of the night's journey lingered in their hearts. They carried with them the magic of mist, music, and gentle guidance, a reminder that even in the mysterious, the world could be kind, beautiful, and peaceful. And so, under the silver mist and the moon's soft glow, Hamlin rested once more, the quiet magic of the night wrapping the town in serenity. Every house, every garden, every winding cobblestone street seemed to hum gently with the piper's melody, a lasting lullaby to guide the hearts of all who called this enchanted valley home. As twilight draped itself over Hamlin, the town seemed to hold its breath. Soft shades of purple and deep blue filled the sky, fading into silver as the first stars appeared, twinkling faintly above. The cobblestone streets glistened under the cool evening light, and the river reflected the quiet shimmer of the fading sun, moving with a gentle rhythm as if it too were preparing for rest. The houses seemed to exhale, the warm glow from windows hinting at lives winding down for the night. Children finished their play quietly, feet brushing lightly against the stones, while parents moved with soft care, ensuring that the night settled in calmly. Even the trees, tall and graceful, swayed in a gentle, soothing dance, their leaves whispering faintly in the soft evening breeze. The air carried a subtle fragrance, lavender from gardens, fresh earth, and the soft hint of river mist. It was a night designed for calm, for reflection, and for dreams to slowly unfurl. And then, from the far road leading into town, a soft, deliberate rhythm emerged, the sound of light footsteps, accompanied by the faint whisper of a flowing cloak. Part 2. The arrival of the piper. The townspeople noticed him almost immediately. A figure cloaked in soft shades of gray and green moved gracefully along the cobblestones, carrying a carved wooden pipe that gleamed faintly in the dim light. He walked with a gentle certainty, as if each step was part of a larger, unseen melody. The children, curious and drawn by an instinct they could not name, gathered at the edges of the square. The adults watched silently, sensing the calm that emanated from the stranger. There was no fear, only a quiet wonder. The piper lifted his pipe and blew a note. It was soft, like the sigh of the wind over the hills, yet it carried through the streets with a gentle insistence. Each sound wove itself into the town's rhythm, the rustling of leaves, the gentle flow of the river, the faint creak of shutters. Everything seemed to harmonize with the melody, creating a lullaby so delicate it seemed spun from the very air itself. The melody guides. The melody did not rush. It flowed, weaving through windows, around lampposts, across gardens, and over quiet streets. The children felt it immediately, a gentle tug at their hearts, a soft call to follow without haste or worry. Their footsteps, light as a whisper, followed the invisible thread of music that seemed to guide them forward, deeper into the night. The rats of Hamlin, fewer than before, but still present, also responded. Unlike the frantic movements of daytime, they followed the melody calmly, moving in harmony with the piper's notes. They glided along the streets, through narrow alleys, and across garden paths, drawn irresistibly by the gentle magic of the tune. The adults, listening from the safety of their windows, felt their own tension soften. The music spoke not just to the children, but to the entire town, wrapping everyone in a shared sense of calm. Every note was a reminder of safety. Every soft pause a cue to breathe slowly, to relax, to prepare for rest. The piper led the children quietly through the town, each note of his pipe drifting like a gentle river through the streets. The mist, silver and soft, curled around rooftops and garden walls, as if carrying the melody forward. Every sound was intentional, a delicate coaxing toward.com, a hypnotic rhythm that slowed racing thoughts and eased every heartbeat. The children's footsteps became almost weightless, floating in time with the music. Their eyes traced the soft outlines of familiar houses, now transformed under the twilight mist, each corner glowing gently in the moonlight. Every detail, the shimmer of leaves, the faint ripple of water in small streams, the gentle sway of lantern lighted to the dreamlike atmosphere, wrapping the children in serene enchantment. Even the river seemed to respond, ripples moving in gentle waves that matched the melody. The soft rustle of trees overhead harmonized with the tune, and even the occasional bird settled silently, as though respecting the hypnotic music flowing through the town. Hamlin itself became an instrument in the piper's hands, each element of the town vibrating with the rhythm of the night. Into the misty hills, guided by the melody, the children and the piper moved toward the hills surrounding Hamlin. The paths were narrow and winding, lined with flowers that seemed to glow faintly in the moonlight. The mist thickened gently, cushioning every step and turning the world into a soft, silver dreamscape. The piper's notes grew slightly slower, more fluid, as if urging the children to relax, to let go of every lingering thought of worry or fear. Each breath of the cool night air felt infused with the music, calming minds and easing bodies into readiness for sleep. The hills themselves seemed to cradle the travelers, their slopes soft and inviting under the quiet glow of the moon. Small creatures of the nitrobit, owls, and hedgehogs watched quietly, drawn by the melody, yet making no sound that could disturb the serene passage. Every detail of the forest seemed attuned to the music, joining in the symphony of night, rustling leaves, flowing water, distant whispers of wind. Part 3. The Clearing of Rest. At last, the piper led them to a wide clearing. The mist swirled like silver silk, and the moonlight cast gentle, glowing patterns across the soft grass. Here, the melody shifted again, slower and deeper, carrying a sense of final calm, a lullaby for mind and heart alike. The children sat and lay gently upon the grass, eyes half closed, breathing slowly, each inhale and exhale matching the rhythm of the piper's pipe. Their tiny hearts felt lighter, their bodies heavier with relaxation, as if the world itself had folded them into a soft embrace. The night around them pulsed softly with music, every shimmer of the mist, every ripple in the river, every rustle of leaves seemed to echo the hypnotic tune. The melody guided them deeper and deeper into tranquility, teaching that calm could be as powerful as curiosity, and that mystery could exist alongside serenity. The piper's melody lingered over the clearing, each note like a soft caress in the cool night air. The children felt the music wrap around them, a gentle embrace that eased every worry and guided every thought toward peace. The mist swirled lightly, curling around their shoulders, soft and protective, as though the world itself had paused to honor the calm. The moon cast a silver glow across the landscape, illuminating the gentle sway of trees and the soft shimmer of flowers along the edges of the clearing. Each note of the piper's pipe seemed to float on the air, weaving a tapestry of sound that carried the children further into rest. Even the river below reflected the gentle rhythm, its surface glimmering with each passing ripple, mirroring the hypnotic flow of the music. The children lay down upon the soft grass, eyes closing as the melody guided them deeper into dreams. Their breaths slowed in time with the notes, each exhale releasing tension, each inhale drawing in calm. The piper's music was a bridge between wakefulness and sleep, a lullaby that spoke directly to the heart. The forest around them responded in harmony. Leaves rustled softly in time with the tune, and distant animals moved silently, respecting the quiet magic of the night. Even the hills seemed to sigh gently under the moonlight, carrying the melody across the valley, ensuring that every heartbeat and thought aligned with the peaceful rhythm. In this moment, Hamlin became a sanctuary of dreams. The children, guided by music, mist, and gentle presence, felt safe and free. Each note, each pause, each soft whisper of the night carried a promise that calm, wonder, and magic could coexist, and that rest was a gift the world willingly offered. Slowly, the piper's figure faded into the silver mist, leaving only the echo of music that would linger in the heart and mind. The children slept deeply, cradled by the melody, the night, and the gentle hills. Hamlin itself seemed to hum softly, the cobblestones, river, and trees all resonating with the lingering tune, creating a lullaby that would be remembered long after dawn. The night continued, timeless and serene. Every rustle, ripple, and breath of wind was part of the symphony of sleep. And as the first hints of dawn approached, the music dissolved into the mist, leaving the valley wrapped in quiet peace. The children awoke later, refreshed, carrying with them the gentle memory of the piper's melody, a reminder of calm, wonder, and the magic that resides in quiet nights. As evening descended upon Hamlin, the town exhaled a soft, calming sigh. The cobblestone streets glimmered faintly under the last warm rays of the sun, and lanterns along the square flickered to life, casting gentle pools of golden light across the town. Windows glowed faintly, and from the homes inside came the quiet murmurs of families settling into their evening routines. The air was fragrant with herbs, the faint aroma of bread baking, and the subtle scent of river mist drifting through the alleys. Children played quietly under the watchful eyes of parents, their laughter soft and musical, blending seamlessly with the gentle rustle of leaves. This was a night that invited calm, reflection, and the gentle unfolding of dreams. Hamlin seemed to breathe in time with the soft sounds of the evening, whispering wind, the gentle flow of the river, and the quiet movement of creatures preparing for rest. Part 2. The Arrival of the Piper. From the far road leading into town came a figure moving with quiet purpose. The piper, cloaked in muted shades, carried his carved wooden pipe carefully, as if it held all the magic of the world within its small frame. His steps were deliberate, slow, and harmonious, matching the soft rhythm of the town settling into night. Children noticed him first. Their eyes widened in quiet wonder as they watched him glide along the cobblestones, each step flowing naturally with the gentle melody that was about to emerge. The adults observed silently from windows and doorways, feeling an inexplicable sense of calm and anticipation. When the piper raised his pipe to his lips and played the first note, the sound was soft, clear, and enchanting. It carried through the streets, curling around buildings, gliding into gardens, and weaving through open windows. Every tone spoke of promises kept, kindness shared, and magic that existed quietly in the world, awaiting discovery by those who listened carefully. The children followed the melody instinctively, each step light and measured, as if guided by invisible hands. Their eyes traced the gentle outlines of houses and gardens, now transformed by the soft glow of lantern light and the silver mist that began to weave itself across the streets. The piper's music seemed to awaken a sense of connection in the town. Small acts of kindness, unnoticed during the day, were reflected in the way neighbors smiled softly at one another, how animals paused without fear, and how the wind carried a gentle, comforting warmth. Even the river seemed to respond, its gentle flow echoing the rhythm of the music, carrying calm and quiet magic to every corner of Hamlin. The notes told a story without words of, story of promises honored and kindness shared. The children, guided by this melody, understood intuitively that every action, no matter how small, carried weight in the tapestry of life. Every soft whisper of the pipe was a lesson, teaching patience, trust, and gentle courage. Part 4. A Night of Discovery. The piper led the children through alleys and past gardens, over soft, mossy paths, and beneath archways of intertwining trees. The mist swirled around them, soft and protective, and every step felt like a part of a larger, magical journey. The town's familiar streets became enchanted under the glow of the evening. Flowers shimmered faintly, leaves rustled with whispers of wisdom, and distant hills glowed softly under the silver moonlight. Each note of the piper's pipe seemed to reveal new wonders, teaching the children that magic was often quiet and hidden, waiting for those willing to see it with gentle eyes and open hearts. The animals of the night watched silently, rabbits peeking from under bushes, owls perched on high branches, and even the river's fish breaking the surface occasionally, all moving in harmony with the melody. The piper's music was a conduit, connecting every living thing to the peaceful rhythm of kindness and quiet magic pervaded Hamlin. The children followed the piper deeper into Hamlin's quiet streets, each note of his pipe guiding them with gentle insistence. The mist thickened softly, curling around rooftops, garden walls, and the winding cobblestone paths. Every step was cushioned by the silver haze, turning the town into a dreamlike landscape where calm and wonder coexisted. The melody of the pipe spoke of small, meaningful deeds, A child saw a flower blooming in the shadow of a wall and felt a quiet joy. A rabbit emerged from the underbrush and paused, as if listening. Every creature and every corner of Hamlin seemed to participate in the silent lesson the music carried. Kindness could be quiet, magic could be hidden, and every promise mattered. The piper's tune grew softer, more intimate, wrapping the children in a cocoon of gentle reassurance. Their breaths slowed, hearts lightened, and the tension of the day seemed to dissolve. Even the river reflected the calm, its waters moving in gentle ripples, echoing the melody in perfect harmony. Part 2. The Hilltop Clearing. The piper guided the children to a hilltop clearing, a place where moonlight spilled across soft grass and the mist danced lightly with the night breeze. Here, the music softened further, and the children felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Each note seemed to speak directly to their hearts, teaching patience, trust, and the beauty of quiet acts. They paused to take in the scene, the town below glowing softly with lanterns, the river winding gently through the valley, and the hills stretching into the silver horizon. The night was alive with magic, but it was calm, protective, and profoundly soothing. The piper's music became a lullaby of promises kept. It reminded them that actions, no matter how small, mattered. The melody spoke of the promise the townspeople had made to protect their children, the piper's own promise to guide the lost, and the subtle magic that existed when one honored kindness. The gentle journey continues. As the children lay on the soft grass, the piper continued his walk through the clearing, the notes weaving gently into the night air. The forest around them seemed to breathe with the melody. Leaves whispered in response, streams glimmered in harmony, and even the hills seemed to hum softly with the rhythm. The children, fully absorbed in the peaceful atmosphere, felt themselves drifting toward sleep. Their minds were free of fear, replaced by calm curiosity and gentle wonder. Each note carried reassurance, each pause encouraged reflection, and each melody offered the comfort of being cared for and guided. The night stretched softly around them, even as the piper's figure gradually faded into the mist. The music lingered, leaving an echo of promises honored, acts of kindness, and gentle magic. The children's hearts carried the story of the night, embedding it in memory as a serene lesson for life. Kindness and gentle guidance always have a place, even in the quietest corners of the world. The clearing seemed suspended in time, a perfect haven of quiet magic. The piper's melody continued to float through the night, wrapping the children in a soft, protective blanket. Every note told a story of gentle promises kept, of kindness extended without expectation, and of magic that existed quietly in the heart of Hamlin. The children felt their eyelids grow heavy. Each breath matched the rhythm of the music, slow and steady. Their minds released any lingering worries, replaced by the warmth of trust and the serenity of the night. The mist swirled gently around them, curling in delicate patterns, as if the very air itself had become part of the lullaby. Even the hills and the river participated. The hills breathed softly, their slopes outlined in silver moonlight. The river glimmered in harmony, each ripple echoing the tender notes of the piper's pipe. Small animals nestled safely among the trees and grass, lulled into calm by the same music that guided the children. The piper moved through the clearing with graceful, quiet steps, ensuring every child felt seen, safe, and comforted. His melody wove through every shadow, every soft rustle of leaves, and every gentle whisper of the night air. It was as if the entire town and all its had become an instrument in his hands, resonating with harmony, kindness, and peace. Slowly, the children drifted fully into sleep. Their dreams were calm, filled with silver mist, soft music, and gentle magic. The piper's figure, now a shadow in the mist, faded silently, leaving only the lingering warmth of the melody. Hamlin itself seemed to sigh in contentment, wrapped in a blanket of moonlight, mist, and quiet enchantment. When the morning light crept softly over the hills, the memory of the night remained. The children awoke, rested, carrying in their hearts the lessons of kindness, promises honored, and the gentle magic that guided them safely through the night. And though the piper had vanished, his melody lingered, a timeless reminder that quiet wonder and soft acts of care could transform even the most ordinary night into something extraordinary. Hamlin settled into the day with calm, its streets and river carrying the echoes of the night. Every flower, every tree, every stone held the magic of the evening, and those who remembered felt a subtle joy and peace, a quiet heartbeat of a town touched by gentle music, kindness, and quiet enchantment.